because it's a process that's going to take time. It might take a lifetime. Apitini niminedem umanungu mayaan jagagi gituan aninwe esi nishona juguang tako anin esi yang gitago apanebego aki yang with a flood of 2011. Miaja 4.5 years ani jitek uweo mapanega unjayang. Mishago hazeki naga dawenda man tabiskupi jinago pijinak. Eki isetekwe. Midashiwe enanaga dawenda man menawanungum. Ani shigo jidudamang. Umaun jinu shimatayang. Jini kakikinu nango ingoyaga benunjiyak. Miani shingoe kawayawad. They're going to be our future leaders. How are we going to prepare our children for situations like this and to better prepare them for the future? I worry about the children a lot. That's my main concern are the children, because they're not resilient to change. The changes that we had to go through, living here in the city, the culture shock, the changes, like a lot of the children used to walk to school, for example. Now a lot of the children are picked up 7 o'clock in the morning, 2.5 hour drive around the city, picking up other students to come to the school. And that's another 2.5 hours back, or 2 hours. Like the children had to go through a lot of changes. And in order to understand this, you have to see the children every day. Sometimes I've had children who were just too tired to stay awake. And I'd tell them, go lie down for a minute. They would have 10-15 minutes power nap. And then they're able to be functional again as students. So it's changes like this. And sometimes they just couldn't handle the day. And I'd have to take them home myself personally. I would drive a student home because it was just too overwhelming for them to be at school. They would talk about, we were up all night. I didn't sleep all night. There were too many people at our place. And these are the things that have happened to our people that have affected them to be these kind of people that they are. They had to go through changes themselves. They had to go through all of these. All of a sudden, they have to be responsible for buying their own food for their families, paying their rent, making sure that daily necessities of life are there. And in turn, how can they look after others effectively when at the same time they have to look after themselves? I think there should have been a lot of support system for young families especially. I think us older ones, I'm not saying I'm much older, but us older ones have so much more experience. We're more stronger because we know how to cope. Some of us have been through the residential school system and we're still dealing with that. And we're fighters, we're survivors. But where does that come from? That comes from deep within us. We can pretend we're happy on the outside, but are we really happy inside? And I think that comes from our belief and our strength in spirituality, in God, because He's the ultimate superior that can make us live through these experiences. And sometimes and without this strong foundation of spirituality, it could be in other forms, because I believe that there are other forms of spirituality, like whatever works for people, right? Whatever works for people. But for me, It's my faith and my reliance on God that makes me survive day by day in the city. I do not like living in the city. I do not like it here at all, but I keep my head above water. I stay positive and at the same time try and help the students as much as I can. And at the same time helping myself to stay above water. Just to say that's just a term that I use, because I think that's what a lot of people are doing. Abijingi dimaga endan apane umaga ya ni bawangi dimaga ni ma kanani shugikenda din anin dawya anin ke jayat bimadi every day chiminoyad every day apijaya wait akong gigichido ta kumenapije aki si thing abega yengo tenga nagatawenta man ani nawent kaun chisi thing ani Lex and Martin kaun chisi thing to aki si thing kai si thing. And my belief is that it's going to make us stronger people, and it's going to make our children stronger leaders. But we have to be there to have that support system. And speaking from experience and from talking to the kids, there's another transition period that's going to happen after the flood. How do we transition back to life on the reserve? These kids are so used to living in Winnipeg. When we first came here, they talked about going home, feeling the wind in their hair, in their face, riding their skidoos all over the place. They talked about things like that. And now they're not so sure. Now when I question that same group, they're already adults. The first group I came here with, most of them are parents now, young parents. And they say, well, I'm not sure if I want to go back. See, it seems like some sense of belonging, some sense of something deep within has been lost. And hopefully the toolkit will help restore some of that faith, restore some of that belief in people, that there is a way, that there is hope, that we can move forward. And that is what is needed. And I think also we need to help each other, support each other. Enough of this already from when we first came here. It was always this and that. We need to be more independent. We need to take a stand and say, okay, we've had enough of this. I want to move forward. I want to go home to my reserve. I don't want to go home and just to be buried. I want to go back there to make a difference and to help the people transition back, especially the children. So there is so much to say. There is so much more to talk about experiences and what it does to a people. Yeah. So I'd like to thank you for listening to me.